Hi guys, welcome back to another beautiful tutorial with Eco Designs to Fit. If you are coming here for the very first time, you are welcome. You might consider subscribing to join this beautiful family. Turn on your notification bell to get post notifications once I upload a new video. And if you are a returning OG, you are also welcome. Today's video we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful structure sleeve. It has been trending on Instagram and I thought I should bring it right here for you guys. So you're going to be needing a peplum stay. You're also going to be needing your desired Ankara print or a George fabric. You can see that hers was made with a George. You're going to be making use of hemming gum just in case this peplum stay doesn't stick properly well. Okay, so this sleeve is divided into two, so we are going to be dividing it into two parts. What do I mean by two parts? So this sleeve is going to be a two-piece sleeve. So what you're going to be doing is to fold your first fabric into four. Okay, so as you can see, I folded into two and again folded it again because I'll be cutting out both for the actual sleeve and then for the lining. So I made a starting line and you're going to determine the length of your sleeve. Okay, so this particular first part I'm cutting out is going to have the length of the sleeve and the width of the sleeve. So I've measured 10 inches for the length plus half an inch for stitching allowance. Now for the wideness, I'm making use of 4 inches plus also half an inch for sewing allowance. Remember, like I told you, I'm going to be cutting out the main sleeve and the lining with this fabric because we need it to be an inseam sewing. Now for this first part, you're going to crave like a curve at the upper parts. That's why I went down from the starting line 2 inches and then curve it out just like this. Okay, and from there we are going to have to cut this out. And while cutting out the upper part, you are going to have to insert also half an inch for your stitching allowance. Can you see the way I'm cutting it out? So go ahead and do yours just like this and your sleeve is going to come out perfectly well. Okay, so this is the first part of the sleeve. Now that I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and measure around this particular piece, okay, so that I'll be able to cut out my rectangular piece which I'm going to use to join on this particular first piece. Okay, so I've measured it and what I had there was 30 inches around. So now I'm going to bring in another fabric and fold it into 4. Okay, can you see the way I folded this second piece? I folded it into 4. Okay, and this is because I want to cut out 2 pieces from this. Okay, and now from here I'm going to go ahead and mark out 6 inches. Now this 6 inches is dependent on how wide you want this your second piece to look. Okay, but I would advise to even make it smaller because after I made my own sleeve, I figured out that this was kind of very wide. Okay, so I would advise you use a smaller inch to cut this out. All right, now from here we are going to go ahead and measure out the length. Okay, I was supposed to use 15 inches for the length, okay, because when we measured around the first piece what we had was 30 inches, right? But here I'm going to make use of 17 inches because I want this in excess. It's better to have excess than running short of it when you are joining this in. Okay, so you guys, that is it, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw my lines across and then we cut this out. Okay, so you guys, once you're done cutting this out, the next step for us to take is to go ahead and fuse in our peplum stay into this. Okay, you can as well make use of a collar stay or a medium gum stay, whichever it is. But if you're making use of a medium gum stay, just be rest assured that your sleeve is not going to stand firm, just like when you use a peplum stay. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and slit open the other end so that I can have my two piece. Okay, so this is what I have for the actual sleeve and then for the lining piece. And then we are going to have to go ahead and fuse in our peplum stay into this. Okay, so I'm going to move over to my ironing table, and then using my steam iron I'll go ahead and fuse in this peplum stay with the help of my hemming gum. Okay, you guys know that this peplum stay is usually hard for it to stick on fabric, so with your hemming gum it's going to make it easier for you. That's why you need hemming gum for this tutorial. Okay, now I'm going to go over to my ironing table, and then with my peplum stay I'm going to fuse it into the fabric. Can you see I finished fusing it in? And you guys, I want to give you a trick on this, okay, because peplum stay is kind of very stubborn to stick to fabric. You can make use of a hemming gum to enable you stick it easily. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and locate the center of this first piece, and once I am done locating the centers I'm going to also locate the center of the second piece. Okay, so can you see what I am doing? And I'm doing this for both the actual sleeve and then for the lining. And once I am done doing this, what I'm going to do is to make sure that the center to center is aligning with each other, and this is how I'm going to stitch this on my machine. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my machine right now and we start up the stitching process. Okay, so right here on my machine, what I'm going to do is to start stitching using 1/2 inch, and you are just going to follow the step. Is not that difficult. What you have to ensure that you are doing is to rotate this rectangular piece, okay, the one on top, rotate it around the first piece. Okay, so can you see what I am doing? And once I am done stitching this part, I'm going to start from the other part. Okay, and this time you want to sew the other part, make sure that the rectangular piece is downwards. Okay, and then you have to rotate this one. Okay, just like, can you see what I'm doing, you guys? So that is exactly how to sew this together. And once I am done with this, I'm going to again repeat the same thing for the lining piece. Okay,
I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious. You think you're worth my time, you're delirious, mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior, inferior. You know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words.
so you guys, right now I am done with this. The next step is for me to go over to my cutting table and I'm going to trim off the excess. Okay, the excess that I have right there, go ahead to trim it off. That's why you should cut out this rectangular piece to be excess. It doesn't do you any harm. Okay, and you guys, this is what we have. Next step is for me to trim off the excess allowance because you don't need it. You need your sleeve to stay flat in between. Okay, now this is what I have, turning it over to the right side. So what you are going to do is to bring the actual sleeve and then the lining piece together, and make sure that the allowances are matching together. And then you're going to have to sew it around just like the way I'm showing you. So I've sewed the down part, which is the hem. Okay, can you see? I'm going to now show you what to do to the edges. Okay, so can you see the way I'm sewing it? Still using my 1/2 inch seam allowance. I am going to join this and leave a little bit of space at that part of the shoulder. Okay, the upper part, that is where I'm going to be leaving an opening, and this opening is for me to turn my sleeve around. Can you see the opening? Okay, so that is where I'm going to follow and turn my sleeve to the right side. And once I am done with this, I'm going to go ahead and place notches on my allowances. Like I said, you want your sleeve to lay flat, okay, because this peplum stay is already making the sleeve very structured and stiff. Okay, so you want the edges to lay flat. That's why you should notch all your allowances. Okay, and from there we are going to have to follow that space that we left in between and then turn over to the right side. Okay, so after you turn this over to the right side, you're going to make sure that you bring out all the pointy parts, okay, using your scissors or whatever it is that you can lay your hands on. Just make sure that you bring out all the pointy parts that might be left inside, and then go ahead and give your sleeve a good press. Okay, so you guys, I'll go and give this sleeve a good press, and then once you are done with that, you go ahead to your sewing machine and top stitch on this space that you left. So this is what we have. This is our sleeve. So you guys, this is the end of this tutorial. If you find this tutorial helpful, please do make sure to give it a thumbs up. I will see you in my next one. Bye.